Welcome to this episode of Real Talk, Bobby Maximus. Now, listen, I know you came here looking for a hug. I know you came here looking for some support. I know you came here looking for some excuse as to why you're not achieving your goals. But I'm not going to give you that. I'm not going to do you the disservice of doing that. The reason you're not achieving your goals when it comes to fitness, when it comes to getting the body that you want, it's because you don't work hard enough. 100%. You're just not willing, or you haven't been willing up until this point to put in the proper amount of work. You see, when it comes to fitness, it's really simple. The results you want, that's a direct result of the effort that you put in. There's no other way to put it. If you put effort in, you'll make progress. If you don't, you will not make progress. You see, that's not the case with other areas in life, is it? You could have a perfect driving record, never have been in an accident. You could be at a red light, minding your own business, and then some idiot with their face in their cell phone could be texting, not paying attention, and ram into you going 50 miles an hour, ruining your car, ruining your neck, putting you into the damn hospital. No fault of your own. You're a victim in that case. Relationships. You know why relationships are scary? You could be the perfect partner. You could be the perfect husband. You could be the perfect wife. And your partner could walk out that front door. They could cheat on you. It's that simple. Again, no fault of your own. You could run a perfect business. You could have a great business mind. You could have a great product. And the government could come in and put some type of regulation on you that shuts you right down. Look at what happened when we were all quarantined. A lot of people lost their livelihood through no fault of their own. See, a lot of life is beyond our control. But back to fitness, it's 100% within our control. You see, I've trained thousands and thousands and thousands of people. And over the years, the people who've made the most success, like my greatest success stories, the people that have made these jaw-dropping, eye-popping transformations, they just put in a serious amount of work. Now, have I trained people that haven't been successful? In all honesty, yes. I have worked with people that have not been successful at all. And they're just not willing to put in the work, or they didn't put in the work. You see, you can hire the best trainer in the world. Maybe that's me. But if you're not willing to do the work, it's not going to happen for you. So when it comes to fitness, if you're fat, if you don't have a six-pack, you don't fit in a certain pair of pants, it's 100% on you. But Bobby, I work out 3 times a week. Do you really think 3 times a week is enough? You really, really, you think showing up 3 times a week is enough? Michael Phelps, 30 gold medals, 35 gold medals, 25 gold medals. I don't know how many he won, but he's basically the greatest Olympian of all time. He showed up 3 times a week. The man swam 1,300 hours a year for 10 straight years. It's like a full-time job. It's like being in a pool from 7 a.m. till 3 p.m. in the afternoon every single day of his life. Patrick Mahomes, arguably the greatest quarterback in the NFL. You think he does football 3 times a week for 20 minutes? LeBron James, maybe the greatest basketball player ever. You're right. He does basketball 3 times a week for 20 minutes a day. But yet here you are looking for elite fitness on 3 sessions a week. It's not going to happen. You don't work hard enough. And then just on a numbers level, there's 365 days a year. There's 7 days in a week. There's 52 weeks. If you train 3 days a week, do you realize you train less than half of the year? Like 150 days you work out of 365. Like in school, you know what that's called? An F. And it's not even like a marginal F, like you're getting a 49%. You're really failing. Like you're miserably failing. You're terrible. You're a dumbass. 3 days a week is not going to cut it. So then you have the people that show up 5 days a week and they still think they're doing enough. 5 days a week, that means there's 2 days of the week that you are not exercising, that you are not working. That's 104 days a year. That's almost a third of your year that you're just pissing away. But yeah, you think you work hard enough. And back to the showing up 5 days a week. You think showing up's enough? You think going to the gym and swiping your little membership card, like that's enough to get you fit? And then what do? You stand on a treadmill and watch CNN or Fox News? That's not going to cut it. You never really progress. You don't push yourself to failure. You don't feel pain. You don't sacrifice. No, it's not going to cut it. And I'm just talking about working out right now. Like if you're not working out an hour a day, 7 days a week, I'm sorry, you're just not putting in enough work. Now, can you have the odd day off here and there? Yeah, sure. But you should be walking. You shouldn't be having a day off where you're glued to a couch doing absolutely nothing. That's what most of you do. So if you're not willing to put in the effort, you're not going to see the result. That's just one part of the puzzle. That's just one aspect of being fit. Now let's talk about sleep. 8 hours of sleep in a completely blacked out environment. A lot of you can't even be bothered to black out your room. You can't put up blackout curtains. You don't want to buy them. You don't want to put your phone away at night. You need a TV in your room because, God forbid, if you didn't have a TV, your life would be miserable. If you do have a TV in your room, it's too much work to tape over, that little red light with electrical tape, the one that keeps you up at night. It's all way too hard, right? You don't want to spend money on a sleep supplement. You don't want to buy some melatonin or some magnesium, which costs you like $10 a month. But you spend money on Starbucks, you spend money on booze, you spend money on clothes you don't need, you spend money on all kinds of other things to impress people that you frankly aren't supposed to care about. You won't do that. And then when it comes to sleep time, you won't get 8 hours of sleep, but you'll watch Monday Night Football, you'll watch Thursday Night Football, you watch the Sunday night game, you'll watch Sports Center, you'll watch yet another episode of Friends or Law and Order or whatever you like on TV or Guys Grocery Games. I mean, I got nothing wrong with any of these shows. Like some of them I watch, but I still get my 8 hours. I don't make excuses of why I can't. And then finally, eating. You think you eat good because you only had 5 drinks last week. If you had 5 drinks a week, you're drinking like 250 alcoholic beverages a year. No wonder you're not fit. No wonder your hormones are a mess. No wonder you're unhealthy. Or you think that your idea of health is going to Subway and getting a veggie sub, having some bread that's like actually closer chemically to a yoga mat, and vegetables that are probably produced in a lab that have nothing in them. Like, you really think that's healthy? It's funny with my diet. I say I follow the 90-10 rule: 90% perfect, 90% non-processed food, 90% organic, blah 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 blah, 10% bad. But I'm actually probably hitting about 96.4. That's what it takes. But a lot of people think, oh, I only had dessert twice last week. I'm eating healthy. No, you are not. When's the last time you think you eat healthy? When's the last time you went 90 days without a drink, without a dessert, or without processed sugar? If you haven't done that, you don't eat healthy. I'm sorry. So you start stacking these things up, right? You got the working out, you got the sleep, you got the eating. Do you really do enough? And again, if you're not losing the weight you want to lose, if you're not building the muscle that you want to build, if you're not bench pressing what you want to bench press, deadlifting what you want to deadlift, running what you want to run, you're just not working hard enough. You're not willing to suffer. You're not willing to sacrifice. Because I've seen people that are willing to suffer and people that are willing to sacrifice, and they see all the results in the world. And then you sit back and you make excuses and you blame other people for being successful. Wow, they must have had good genetics. It's really funny. I grew up in a small little town. Everyone knew my parents. My mom is not in shape at all. My grandparents weren't athletes. My dad died of 49 of a heart attack. And I have people that will say, who knew me in elementary school, that knew my parents, they're like, oh, you're so lucky that you have good genetics. Like, what genetics did I have? You knew my parents. There's a real conversation I had with somebody. You knew my parents. What genetics did I have? They're like, oh, well, you're like so lucky to be fit. Yeah, back in the day when I wasn't going out with you, when I skipped parties, when I skipped outings, when I was working out all the time, and you called me obsessed and you made fun of me. You're right. I'm lucky, right? See, people have a real short memory. And when you are successful, people will blame it on all kinds of stuff. Oh, they have a genetic advantage. They had the secret. They had something I didn't have, blah, 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 blah. No, they just work harder than you. It's that simple. So do me a favor, whoever you are, wherever you are, whatever you're doing, if you're not achieving some goals, achieving your goals, do some real soul searching and ask yourself, what can I do more? How can I try harder? How can I show up more? How can I sacrifice more? Start answering those questions. You'll start getting fit. It's really that simple. Stop with the BS. Stop with the nonsense. Stop with the excuses. and just work harder. I'll leave you with my favorite phrase of all time. Nobody fucking cares. Work harder.